He was poor, but his love was rich, richer than the lives of those who mocked his empty pockets, richer than the gold that glittered in shop windows he passed every day, richer than the dreams he buried deep inside his chest just to survive another morning. Because he had learned early that life does not forgive weakness, yet love sometimes does, and he carried that love quietly, like a secret prayer whispered only to his own heart. He lived in a small, worn-down neighborhood where mornings began with noise and nights ended with exhaustion, where shoes wore out faster than hopes and hands grew rough before dreams could fully form. And every day he worked until his body ached, not because he loved labor, but because survival demanded it. And still, despite the weight of the world pressing against his shoulders, there was one thing that never grew tired inside him: his love for her. She entered his life without ceremony, without fireworks or dramatic confessions, just a simple glance that lingered a second too long, a smile that softened something broken within him. And from that moment, the world felt different, as if color had quietly returned places he thought were permanently gray. She was not blind to his poverty. She saw the cracks in his life clearly: the old clothes, the calloused hands, the way he counted coins before buying tea. But she also saw what others ignored: the patience in his silence, the honesty in his eyes, the way he listened as if her words mattered more than his own existence, and that alone made her feel safer than any luxury ever could. He never brought her expensive gifts, never surprised her with grand gestures, never promised castles or futures written in gold, but he gave her something rarer: time when he had none, presence when he was exhausted, loyalty when temptation and despair tried to pull him away, and love that asked for nothing in return. When it rained, he walked beside her, holding an umbrella just a little closer to her, sighed, letting the rain soak his own shoulder without complaint. And when she was silent, he never forced words upon her, because he understood that sometimes love is not about speaking, but about staying. Society, however, is rarely kind to quiet devotion, and the world around them never stopped reminding them of the difference between dreams and reality, whispering cruel truths through careless mouths. Love does not pay bills. Affection does not build houses, and poverty has no place in romance. And though he pretended not to hear, every word left a bruise inside him. Every judgment chipped away at the hope he fought so hard to protect. She felt that pressure too, felt the weight of expectations pressing down on her heart, felt torn between what the world demanded and what her soul desired. And some nights she cried alone, not because she doubted his love, but because she feared the future would not be kind enough to accept it. Still, he never blamed her tears, never questioned her hesitation, because his love was not selfish. It did not trap or demand. It only wished for her happiness, even if that happiness eventually required his absence. Time moved forward as it always does, indifferent and unforgiving, bringing harder days, fewer smiles, and longer silences, until one evening they stood together knowing something unspoken hovered between them, heavy and unavoidable. And though no harsh word were exchanged, no accusations thrown, both understood that love alone could no longer shield them from reality. Their separation was quiet, almost gentle, marked not by anger but by restraint, by a mutual decision to let go before resentment replaced tenderness. And as they walked away from each other, neither looked back, not because they did not care, but because looking back would have broken them completely. Years passed, and life carried him in different directions. He continued to struggle, continued to work, continued to live modestly, but he never became bitter, never allowed disappointment to poison the goodness inside him, because loving her had taught him dignity, patience, and the rare strength of letting go, while she moved on into a more comfortable life, surrounded by security, warmth, and everything the world considers success. Yet sometimes, in quiet moments, she would find herself staring out of a window, remembering a man who owned nothing but gave everything, a man whose love never demanded proof, a man who never tried to be more than he was, and those memories would ache more deeply than any hardship she had ever known. Because wealth can fill rooms but not silence, because comfort can soften days but not replace sincerity, and because some loves do not stay, yet they remain alive within us, shaping who we become long after they are gone. He was poor, but his love was rich, not because it conquered the world, but because it survived without bitterness, because it taught two hearts what genuine care looks like, and because even now, somewhere between memory and longing, that love still exists untouched by time, unmeasured by money, and undefeated by loss.